What is up, y'all? What is up? Welcome back to the Songwriter support stream. Sorry about being late today. I got here early, but I'm not gonna lie. My former access as being a Sweetwater sales engineer has impacted me because I actually tried getting some new plugins today because Universal Audio is having a crazy deal. Like, okay, I used to have the hardware. I used to have all of the plugins. Like I had access to all of that so I could sell it to people. And let me tell you, those Universal Audio plugins are amazing. They made them native finally. Because it used to be you had to have the hardware. But I don't anymore, actually. I'm not going to lie. Like, I ended up having to. One of the pieces, somebody, actually, a former sales, I don't know if he still is, but a sales engineer had bricked my Apollo interface right in front of me while he was living with me. And he never really paid me for it, never got it fixed. And like it was something where I knew for what it would have cost, I didn't have the money to like fix the unit, even though I had a bricked one. And I watched it happen. Like I watched him plug in the wrong power supply and just completely destroy it and not take accountability. Um, And then on top of that, the other piece of hardware that I have, I no longer have that. Like I just no longer, I had given it to somebody because I knew it couldn't fit in my backpack when I was traveling. Well, really when I lost everything. And he has the hardware unit. But I don't think really only some of the plugins might work. So I actually contacted their support and I wanted to get that bundle running before I was doing stream because, dude, some of the plugins that they had on sale, it was like $100 for like 10 really amazing plugins, and they had some really awesome deals. And there were some that I've used, like some of their virtual instruments and stuff like that. Totally used it, and I still have access to some of the other plugins that I already own from them. So it's good, there's that. But at the same time, it's kind of like annoying. It's bothersome that every time I was trying to get like the free plugins that they were offering or the new plugins, that they're offering, it won't let me now. And it was the same issue that I had with Isotope. Like when I tried getting some of their free software or some of their things, because I had that access and the accounts that I have, like I no longer am able to get some of their plugins without there being like an issue with contacting support. And I don't know if it's because they finally restricted access to Sweetwater sales engineers. But for the longest time, dude, like when I was working there, they gave us access. They gave us not for resales, but it makes sense why. Like if you're a sales engineer, right? If you're somebody who's supposed to be knowledgeable on their products, it absolutely makes sense for you to get a copy of their products and use it. Because how are you going to explain it to somebody if you don't know how it works? Like you could be somebody who just like, oh yeah, you read the descriptions, you get the product descriptions, all that. But if you're actually making music and applying, using those skills, then it's amazing. Like it actually allows you to sell the product to the right person and make it so that like if they're buying something, they're not being misled into what exactly they're buying, like what they're purchasing. Because I recognize that is the issue that I have is like I tried actually paying for the plugins now because I know what they're worth, and the fact that you could get 10 of them for $100, dude, that literally makes $300 native plugins $10 a piece. Are you kidding me? Like that's insane. So I was like, okay, I've missed these, and it's something that I've wanted for a while, and now that they're offering it, and some that I've never tried, but I knew would be really awesome options, like amp simulation, and they simulated real amps I've played before. like a 60. I think one was like a 65 twin reverb Fender, and then the other one was like a Vox. I think it was like a Vox AC15 or AC30. Like just something legendary. Good stuff, and their Sims are good. Everything was really good. So I think that's what the goal of today is I'm gonna yap a little bit, but while I'm doing that, I'm gonna get all the installers for some of these free plugins that I have access to. And then on top of that, use some of the other ones that I've been downloading. Because let me tell you, the free plugins are great. They're amazing. But, excuse me. But the universal audio stuff, if you've ever used it, it's incredible. Like, not only do they have the licensing from the real companies, so like you can basically use exactly what they had intended it for, like the exact version. And if you've ever used the real hardware, it's awesome. And being able to use like multiple instances on multiple tracks of legendary hardware and not having to use just like a free version of it is amazing. Like, I think that is ideal. That's what you want. Um, Now, I think the issue I have more so is the fact that I had so much access to everything that I wasn't able to really like. Oh, let me see. I want to check this. Sampler Pro-Gate. Is there actually a downloader? Oh, maybe I gotta look into how you install this one. But having all that access was genuinely awesome when I was helping people, because it allowed me to help people on a very deep level. Like, it made it way more possible for me to do something incredible. And make sure that when people were buying stuff, they weren't just like buying something they really didn't need. Sorry, just making the thumbnail for the stream, because I just haven't. I'm behind right now because I was really trying to get it up and running before 2 o'clock, and I messed up. But hey, that's why I named this one "Jesus is Lord, Making Music and Yapping," because I'm gonna yap a little bit while I'm getting some plugins installed, getting some new things updated, because I really want to implement some of these things. Like, I really want to give you guys an honest take, because I think that free plugins get you so far, but then now that everything's in the box, if you know what paid plugins to buy, which I think some of the best paid plugins to buy, it's like a mixture of the really crazy sound design ones and ones that have been used for a very long time, or like emulate real pieces of hardware that cost thousands of dollars that would attract clients to your studio. Like, for example, if you can get the TubeTech CL1B, if you can get the Teletronics LA2A, if you can get the Pultec EQP1A, these are all legendary studio pieces. And if you're a real studio guy, you're going to know. You're going to see, like, if you've been to any professional studio in LA or Atlanta or Chicago, like New York, if you've been to a professional recording studio, the likelihood that you've seen these in real life, or a version of them, maybe even the warm audio version, if a studio's like up and coming and they know what kind of hardware they're buying, you're going to know that they're more serious about what they do. And really, that's the goal with the hardware, is it's so that it can attract a certain client to your studio. Like, because there's a lot of pop singers and producers and stuff like that. Like some of them, they'll go to a studio because they're like, oh, this is a cool mixing console. You guys have professional speakers. You've got a professional setup, and you have a way for me to just easily patch into it. And they're not actually using the console. But then you actually have some like recording artists where their management and their team knows, okay, like if they have a Neve 1073 type preamp, a TubeTech CL1B, or something like that type compressor, and an Apollo or some sort of like really high end converter going in, you're going to get a quality recording as long as the person knows how to set it up. So it's worth your money. And I think that is important. I think it does show that you know what you're doing and you know what the industry standard is. And the reason why they have it that way is the sound of the TubeTech CL1B. Also like the Sony C800 microphone. That's another like staple, or Neumann U87, something of that nature, or AKG C414, like something like that. You're going to see those in a lot of studios that I would consider professional. Like a lot of them will have that as their main channel strip. And it's because it's been so used, tried, true, and tested in the music industry, especially in pop, that if you had those, the likelihood that you could get delivered an incredible recording is very high. Like it's less likely for it to sound bad. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. Like, that's just the way to think about it. Oh, there's the installer. Okay. We're going to run it. Sweet. All right. Well, I hope these installers don't break my computer. I don't think they will. I think it'll be fine. The website, it was for this company. What was it called? I don't know. I've noticed that like free plugins, I've never had issues with that. There's not like a lot of them that are going to be untrustworthy. Like it's not going to be malware because it's just people making software. And if anything, it'd just be buggy and would crash. Like it's not going to destroy your computer. The only time it does is when you crack legal software. Like if you crack a software that's professional, a lot of times, if you did it the old school way, which was using a keygen, and I think now a lot of them like they've been able to bypass it. They've been able to figure it out, and I'm not condoning that behavior. I would say actually go buy your plugins, like, because you're not going to have issues, because those keygens and those versions of the plugins and the software, they may actually have malware and other malicious devices in there. Like it might actually be an issue if you try to download it illegally. And that's more of my concern is like, well, one, as a Christian, we shouldn't be stealing. Like that's flat out in the Bible. You know what I mean? Like we shouldn't be doing that at all. And it is. Pirating is theft. And don't get me wrong, I think there's a tough line because there's some times where you may not be able to get certain plugins anymore because the company just doesn't release them. Or, you know, for example, I'm not going to lie, I had... because they don't sell it anymore. They don't sell Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 on PC. Like, if EA sold that game again, I bet you they would recoup whatever losses they've probably had on most video games. Because that is, like, one of the most popular Need for Speeds, right next to Underground 2 and Underground. Like, those 3 games alone, if they were sold in a bundle as is and optimized for PC for like RTX and like ray tracing and for a modern PC, dude, sell out. It would sell out because they were such legendary games, but they decided when everything got ported over to Steam not to put it out there, which sucks. because it's like this is a piece of my childhood that I wanted to relive. Like these games came out in like 2005 and 2010, and I'm like 10 years old, like that was literally me playing the first gen Xbox and playing Underground. I think Underground 2 was on first gen Xbox, and then I think Most Wanted was on 360. But that, those were such legendary consoles for what they did. And I just wish more of that kind of software, more of that kind of stuff was available. But that's the only issue I have with companies taking down products. Okay, cool. But yeah, I'm probably just yapping to nobody right now. I'm okay with that because I just wanted to install these new plugins, getting everything situated, get everything knit tight, and trying some new stuff. But I gotta wait. I gotta figure out what's going on with my Universal Audio plugins. I messaged them. I pray that their support actually hits me up because it's like I paid for the plugins and it's not letting me download certain stuff just because I had the actual versions. Like I had most of all of it, and I don't know if it's like they locked down my account or if I gotta like call their support or what. Because I probably will. I'm gonna be like, hey, I no longer work at Sweetwater. If you need to deactivate stuff, 100% go for it. That's just the truth. And I want to use the plugins that I paid for because I enjoyed the stuff, and I think $100 for stuff that they're charging like $300 for one, and I know it's worth that because it's great stuff. It's really well developed, and now that they actually have a version that doesn't require the hardware, which was the biggest complaint. Like I never understood why they didn't do that off the rip, like try to make it native. And I think the reason why is, and I'm going to tell you this as somebody who used to sell Pro Tools as well. Universal Audio tried doing what Pro Tools has mastered for years. They tried doing integrating the hardware with the software. And I've never really used Luna, but it's just like, it doesn't operate the same way as Pro Tools. Pro Tools is like, they've put a grip on the market. They standardized a ton of things with the industry, and then they got in competition. They basically made a great deal with Apple and Disney, and Disney uses Pro Tools for pretty much all of their they use Avid Media Composer, more specifically, for their entire catalog. And they use Apple computers. So what had happened was Avid stopped optimizing for PC and started optimizing for Apple devices. And so that's what people don't realize is that's what created the whole, Mac is better for music and art. It was that. It was making deals with them. Because really, Windows in programming is supposedly it's a lot easier to make stuff for Windows. But Apple, when it comes to the audio drivers, were more stable. Like there was more you could do with the audio drivers. Whereas like Windows, it wasn't. It hasn't been for a long time, but as of recently, it's about the same. And I think really like Windows is the way to go unless you run a studio like that. Like if you run a major studio, you end up having to go Apple because Pro Tools is going to be optimized for that. And you want Pro Tools because of their borderline zero latency hardware, software integration. Like it's that good. It's been that good for a long time. And the other thing too is it's that good at very high channel counts. So like if you're running an 128 channel, 256 channel mixing console, which is massive, having all of that extra software and things that are built into it is going to make that big of a difference. So I just want y'all to know that going into this, it's like important to think about what you do and why you do it, but also just where you spend your time, like, and your money. Like, where do you spend your money? Because if you're spending your money on just the wrong things, right? Like, you're gonna realize real quick that you're just wasting money. Like, it's not what you thought it was. So I'm gonna go into this. I'm gonna reopen that one project file. We're gonna start there. I'm gonna update some things on the stream. I know I'm late, so if anybody pops up later, completely understand. I'm grateful. But I gotta tweak some things. I gotta save this. Let me see. Automatic places, automatic concepts. Let me see. Music production. Song writing. Mixing. Sound design. Mastering. Ableton Live. Christian. Producer. Christian. Songwriter. Christian. Music. Beat making. Let me see. Vital synth. Electric guitar. Sublab. VST. Yeah, I'm just gonna put a ton of stuff on here and just see what happens. And then I think, okay, because I wonder too if I if I manage the stream, and then the next time let me see if I can update the settings. Oh wait, there's a way to do breaks on here? I never knew that. There's a ton of stuff I don't know. But yeah, even though I'm late, I got it done. And let me... Oh, crap. I keep forgetting to do that. I wonder if that'll do it. Okay. Let me update this. Because I feel like I have a better, let's see, customization. Oh, cool. I didn't know you could do that. Anyone? Live reactions. Details. There you go. Thumbnail. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I don't know why it's not doing that, but I think I'm gonna just put this one, and that should be fine. For now, I'll have to update that and figure that out later. But yeah, I got to be more organized with this. So today, I think the goal, let's test out Psytrance plugins. Oh, dude. See, hold on. What's this? Hold on. So it just, I gotta check this out. This actually might be a really good free plugin. Like, I think it'll tell you, I think it's just a analyzer. Like, it'll tell you your phase correlation. It's going to tell you what the amplitudes are across different frequency bands. Like, I think that's it. Because that's just the goal. And you should know this stuff. Because when you're making a song, it's important to see what the frequency balance is. And I'm gonna put you guys on gain. If you haven't downloaded the free version of the Isotope tonal balance, dude, it's been a game changer for my mixes recently. Like, it's helped me. I think on that new beat that I made, I posted a version yesterday or like a few days. I think it officially posted on Thursday of one of the mixes that I did for it. And it's better than it's better now. But like when I started doing it, it showed me that it's like, wow, I have a lot to that I'm able to use. Man, I'm just yapping right now. All right, let's actually start making some music. How about that? Because I haven't seen a soul. So I think today we're going to go with like slower. And let me go, because I know. Dang. Oh. Okay, cool. I kind of like that. Yeah, I want to see how extreme this compressor is. Oh, and you can do mid-side compression on this? Oh, this is cool. This is cool. I like that. So I personally don't like the UI as much, but the sound is good. Wow, dude, this is wild. So it's telling you just about everything. Uh-oh. 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 It's funny, it's called Pro Freeze, and I think it... No. No! I knew it! Oh, I was just getting started. I really liked where that was going, though. Like, I like the sound of those drums. I just wanted to try something. So some of those actually might crash. Cool. At least we know. So Pro Freeze, don't do it. It will freeze your computer. Oh, I'm gonna have to start all over again, aren't I? See, this is the problem with free plugins sometimes, is it will sometimes crash everything. Oh my goodness, it did it again. So some of these, like, I guess like the freeze, the prorogate, yeah, no go. Like, I'm gonna have to delete them probably. Man. Come on now. Come on now. Yep. But dude, some of these sampler plugins are really cool. Like, I like what they're doing. Like, it's taking something that's not too crazy, but I think I can make something cool out of it. Like, I can really do something with it. Oh, if only it will just crash fully so I can reboot. Oh, dude. We're going to have to task manager this one. This is bad, dude. This is bad. End it. There you go. I just had to... Again. Now you get to see a campsite. So I like the loop. That's a cool loop. It reminds me of like... I listened to an artist named Macro Blank, and I feel like I kind of want to start moving my music in a way where, like, oh, cool, it's been saving it. Sweet, dude. Ableton's so good with this. You know what? Let's save it. So this is the first technical beat of June. Freaking awesome. So I think I'm still going to use like standard clips, something like that. Which also, I feel like it's a must-have. If you do music, this is a very helpful tool. And you'll see why here in a second. Because it just... Isn't that wild? That's what that sounds like. But if you add... It just really brings that out. Like, it brings different elements out of it. And I think that's super important with when you're thinking about mixing versus sound design. I think sound design is a more destructive way of mixing. Like, it's more like creative mixing, where you're doing extreme things to plugins, like breaking them and doing what they may not traditionally be made for, to create new sounds. And I think that's a really awesome thing to try. It's always fun trying it. Now, do I think it's always the right thing to do? No, definitely not. So I think this one, we're going to do guitar on it. I feel like vocals might be cool on it, too. You know, I'm going to try the, hold on. Because I know I got some, like, free guitar plugins, too. Oh, so Guitar Rig is the... Oh, that's another one I need to update is Golf Boss. See, I have, like, a ton of paid plugins, too. Like, even though I had access to a ton of free plugins with working at Sweetwater, which is their paid plugins, but they gave you access to them so you could help people with understanding the product, which was great. Like, that's perfect. You definitely want access to that, not only because it's like, oh, I'm a musician and I got gear now, but... Yeah. Hold on. I want to try that free reverb sounded pretty good on the drums, I'm not gonna lie. That's without it. That's crazy, dude. So I'm going to try it in between, like right here. Oh, and it's zero latency. So this is actually a really good free plugin to like use if you're going to track vocals and do things like that. Ooh. And then, let me see. Let me do the La compressor. See, this is one of those plugins that I went to try and get the Universal Audio one today. And it just was having issues on my account, bro. I'm kind of frustrated about it. I'm not going to say I'm angry or mad, but I'm like, dang, I know why. And I said it earlier in the chat, which is fine. Nobody was watching, so if you ask. Oh, so this is supposed to be like an AC 130 or an AC 15, like a Vox. This is like that on the boost channel. This is probably like a twin reverb. That's like a Marshall Plexi. That's like a Mesa Boogie. This one's like a Mesa Boogie on the Crazy channel. And then this one's like a Marshall bass amp. That's pretty good. Like, I never realized that was the free Ableton, and it was emulated by Softtube. So it's good stuff. See, this is why, if you do music, or if you're an engineer, it's important to know the gear. Like, know that this is a recreation of a real thing that has existed for almost, it's crazy to think, for how many years? What's good? Welcome. I just have been like tweaking with some free plugins and stuff right now, and took a free drum loop, tried some stuff with stuff that I have, stuff that I've just trying out. Like, it's crazy how this goes. Like, you're like, oh, that's kind of boring, and then just what's good? Yeah, that's definitely the vibe. Kind of some like slower stuff today. Trying something different. Mixing it up. Let me see. Crazy that it just all of a sudden now everybody's in here. I feel like it's because I had to change a whole bunch of settings about everything now. Like, the way YouTube works is it won't show anybody anything if it's too simple, or but if you like add tags, you add all the stuff, whatever, and you stream for just long enough, it just will show it to everybody finally. Let me do this just so it's not clipping on your guys' end. Wondering too if I put like a little pedal. A little bit of everything, honestly. I would say mainly I produce hip hop. Like, a lot of the stuff that I typically produce would lean in the hip hop realm. But I kind of like doing lo-fi. I like doing boom bap. I also like I personally listen to a lot of like slower pace, macro blank. Sometimes I listen to like Liquid D&B and house and stuff like that when I do some of my other jobs. So I am inspired by a lot. But I would say most of what I produced on here is like hip hop, just because that's kind of my wheelhouse. So I'm just trying to switch it up a little bit. Oh yeah, probably should do that. Make it a little longer. Good. I appreciate everybody actually popping in. I feel like I had to change some things so it's actually showing it to y'all. So I'm going to start here. Maybe at least get the chord progression down. And then that's kind of like the vibe right now. So one thing I've been learning, if you guys know about the isotope tonal balance control, bro, it's free right now. I highly suggest getting it. It's helped me a lot. Because especially if you wear headphones when you mix, it messes with your perception of what translates and being able to make your stuff actually loud. And see this right here? That's because so really like that bass and that kick drum is like conflicting a lot. And you can kind of hear the guitar in there a little bit. But it's showing you like where you can really set things. And I feel like the bass heavy setting for mine, like that's actually a really good place to start. I am a Christian. That is correct. It's kind of where I lean musically. If you listen to my music that I have out there under Myron the Disciple, that's exactly kind of what I talk about. Honestly, I was saved a little over a year ago, and I realized that, you know, people always say that, like, the music industry is demonic, and the answer is yeah. Like, even before I was saved, I knew that. Because I know what I experienced. But what I recognized is like, we're called to be a light in a dark place. So, I think keep that in mind with what you do. And who you choose to work with. Because some people are more than willing to compromise their morals and their integrity for $1. And you don't think it's like that until the opportunity comes. Like, once you see an opportunity like that come, you'll see real quick, like, what happens there. I like that. Just like throw that in later. There we go. See, I'm just surprised it's not picking up the, maybe I just gotta up the detail. Yeah. There you go. And then maybe 100. Oh, wow. It will pick up. See, I'm trying to get that, like, because that's the bass without it. It sounds good. So now that we get the side chain, kind of. Let's hoping that kick drum just punch a little more. want it to like, hold on. It's like a little run. Do 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 do. Hmm. Hmm. So I like that what the guitar did right there. Da 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 da. Yeah. Da 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 da. All right. So, I tried some of these new plugins that I downloaded from what was it? Psytrance. So the like tonal ones, they sound good. All the time-based ones kept crashing on me though, except for reverb. I wonder if like putting a flanger. I wonder what happens if I do like a small flanger. All right, cool. This one works. So some of these free plugins, they won't like harm your computer. They'll just crash. Like that's the problem. Ooh. Oh, dude, what? So I could just do like. Oh yeah. I like that. Gives it a little bit extra stereo width. That's real nice. Okay, so feel like so that's kind of like the first vibe. And then I wonder if let me see, because I like this. And I wonder if I like add a different drum, right? But I use like a very Ooh, hold on. Then this one, this is such a crazy plugin. I wonder if it'll like... kind of like what it's doing there. I also kind of like the stock preset, I'm not gonna lie. So I think I'm going to do one with that, and I'm going to take the same groove, and I'm going to do another one with like a different... Because I think what's important is like you can use these plugins to really make some weird sounds, and then flatten them, and then just put in the like rendered audio at certain sections where it makes sense. Yeah, this one. And then I'm going to do one without it. So, because I like what they're doing. I feel like they're all three doing something unique. So I'm going to freeze these. And then like splice in what I think sounds cool. For a different section. Because that's my goal. I don't want to just make hip hop. I don't want to just make one thing. Like, I'm a songwriter, and I feel like, you know, we're all, but I'm also a producer, and we're all challenged to make something unique all the time. Like, I feel like a lot of people want what is the same, but I think we're getting to this point where there just needs to be something new. Like something more creative and something where like I can implement that style, but do it in a way that I've never done it before. And like just, you know, just experiment first. Just experiment with sound before I just wholeheartedly, you know, because I could have a rapper hit me up and be like, hey, I want a beat that sounds like this in this key. I could do that. But I feel like it doesn't make it exciting anymore. Like if you produce, you've probably gotten to that point where you've done the try to do 5 beats a day, 50 beats a day, whatever it is, right? And you try all these different styles, and you end up getting beat block. Yeah, kind of like that. I'm going to just consolidate it. Make it one file. Okay. Now this one. Kind of like... Oh, I like that. That's like a cool ending. So it could be like on the second half, right? Like this. And And I might do a different like key change or something like that. Also, coming up with a video right now that I think is a really important topic that a lot of producers and artists struggle with. And I even saw an artist, like, I literally wrote the script this morning at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not even kidding you. And it was a Christian artist talking about, bro, I didn't realize my song had samples in it that couldn't be cleared. And so what I'm doing here, this is allowed. And I don't clarify it in the script, and I'm okay with that just because I wanted to get the point across of like what is, I kind of like do a little bit of that, but I didn't clarify this specifically. Drum samples are okay. Like you can take like the amen break. And that's actually for people watching, I kind of want to talk about that. Because this was one of the biggest samples that has ever been used. And I think it's important. Like, basically, it's been used in multiple genres. So, like, this is, like, one of the most known drum samples ever created. Ever. And this right here was one of the biggest, one of the most widely sampled uses of drums. But that also goes to show what kind of legislation. See what I'm saying? They never received royalties for the sample, but until 1996, the statute of limitations for copyright infringement had passed. So drum samples have a very unique ruling with sampling. And if I'm not mistaken, like, can I use drum loops in a song? And I think the answer is there's more rules to it. And that's what I mean, is right here. If you guys are still watching, drum loops, drum beats, and drum patterns themselves are generally not considered copyrightable material. So I want y'all to know that. Like, drum loops, I just had it up. My bad. But drum loops, drum samples. I know this is the this is an AI response to it, But like literally drum patterns are not. Like drum patterns, drum loops. If you're using a recorded song, like you're using it from a recorded song, absolutely. But if it's like common drum patterns and rhythms used across various genres typically are not considered unique enough to warrant copyright protection. So like if it's like a recording, like say you ripped the drums from, like you AI ripped the drums from something, yes, that is technically copyright infringement, because you're going to a recorded song and you are using AI tools to essentially extrapolate all of the drums and percussion of that song to then put into your song. So that is warrants for copyright infringement. But if you have like, if it's like a drum loop pack, you're good. Now, what you should know is like if you have splice melodic loops, like it's like chords plus a little notes, don't. You run the risk of it being part of a recorded song. Somebody's probably already used it. And then even if you paid for that sample, that doesn't mean that you fully have clearance for that. So I want to save y'all guys a headache in understanding that like what I'm doing right here, I could release this song. And especially because of how destructive I'm like taking this. Because like these sounds don't sound like that initially. They sound kind of... That's the original sound. But I'm doing some things to give it a little bit extra. But I think that's what's important too, is like you can take stuff. The trick is don't use stuff that is copyrighted, which is going to be a master recording or a composition. So drum patterns, drums, drum samples are not considered copyrightable. They're not. So if you got a free drum pack online, you can absolutely use that. The problem is when you use any melodic one-shots from that, or like, any melodic like melodies, midis, that have like a melody plus chords, or samples, like a loop or something like that. That's when you can get into some dangerous territory. Because even if you go submit that for a placement, right? Like you run everybody at risk. You run every single person up the chain. And even if a label hits you up, like they know what it costs to get a sample clearance. Doesn't mean that they don't have the money. They just don't want to deal with the headache. And I think that this is kind of destroyed some of Christian music. Like the Christian remixes, and I know you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. That's what I mean, is like I feel called to make this video because I want more people to be able to use the gifts that God gave them, but not be destroyed by the truth of how the music industry operates and what is considered basically stealing. Because there's a difference between taking inspiration and stealing. Taking inspiration is taking the chords, the drum patterns, the key, and making something your own. Stealing or copyright infringement is when you take the same exact idea, and you change the sounds. That's a different type of copyright infringement if you don't get the rights, which is called interpolation. It basically means, hey, you're not directly sampling it. You are taking the composition and re-recording it using different sounds. It's still theft because there's two different rights. You've got your recording and you've got your composition. And that's the reason why. Because somebody could be like, oh, I know how to play that song. I can just record it myself. And if that didn't exist, it wouldn't protect the copyright holders. Which that's why the copyright for composition has been around before recording. Because sampling didn't actually become major until like Grandmaster Flash. Like sampling got huge right around then. Because if you think about early hip hop, it was so influential to not only culture, but how music is made now. Because early hip hop, like Grandmaster Flash, he was scratching vinyls of original records and playing them back in a unique way. But that's considered sampling. And he had a label behind him when he did his first release, so like he could get all the copyrights. That wasn't a problem. But it's now, you know what I mean? Like, we got to protect ourselves against AI, which is the devil and everybody else that wants their piece. Because it's not about, like, a lot of people think it's just about money. And that's the problem, is it's like, no, it's actually about control. A lot of these labels want control, dude. They 100% want that because they know if you open yourself up to it, you just open the door for being controlled. And we don't want that. Like the only thing that we want in control is God. And when you choose to do things like that, and you don't understand the consequences, you leave yourself open to the other side of the spiritual realm. Whether you know it or not. And I think that comes from somebody I've seen the music industry, I've seen the New Age spirituality aspect of it that a lot of people believe in. I've seen the demonic stuff too. Like, and I've dealt with people that, you know, were actually a lot deeper into that than I thought. And it's real. It's 100% real. I'm not going to deny it. And that's why God says that we shouldn't participate in witchcraft or the occult, not because it doesn't work, but because it does work, but at what cost? And I think the best analogy I could say for that is like a gun. You can legally own a gun. You can also illegally own a gun, and they would work equally as well, but one of those you got the right way. One of those, you got that power from the right source. And if you want to illegally own a gun, you're going to face the consequences of that when you get caught up with it. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Because it's like, it's very powerful. Like, they don't understand that music is very powerful. And not knowing your rights as an artist, as a producer, as somebody who like maybe uses music, if you're a business, if you're going to be using things, like understanding your rights and understanding the rights of people is going to help you make the right decisions so that you don't fall into those traps. Because the industry, like, that's how they get you, is getting you to get into a crazy loan or owing them money or them having to sue you over something. Because they could totally do it. But you just have to know your rights. Like, you have to know what is okay and what is not. And I think a lot of people don't truly understand the power of knowing your rights. Because they just think like, oh, dude, this is a fire sample. This is going to be the best song ever. And they don't realize the consequences of which they got that. Like, they don't know what comes with it. They don't know that their music can be taken down. They don't know they could be personally sued for everything if it got big enough. Because, a label would have interest in that. Then it's more than money. It's like showing you that they're not playing around. You know what I mean? And, like, people don't get that. And I've seen it. Like, dude, I've dealt with people that, let's just say this, Jay-Z and Beyonce know what they did to some records that I've worked on in the past. And they know fully well why they did it. And we weren't even sampling them. We weren't doing anything like that. We were just a threat to them in some type of way. And they took people that we hired on and lined their pockets to mess with our music. They know what they did. Rock Nation knows what they did. They know what they've tried to do with me. And it blows my mind that, like, I'm not even known. I'm not even known. Like, I didn't have any type of, like, crazy release or plaques or anything like that. I've been around people like that. I've been around different parts of the industry, and I've seen it happen, man. And I don't want to put fear in people's hearts about making music, but I want them to understand, like, you gotta know what you're using. And that's why I think learning basic music theory and learning how to create and what the rules are with samples is, because you can use it. The legality is how you got it. You see what I mean? Like, that's why I'm saying, like, it's the thing between like legally owning a gun and illegally owning a gun. They're both equally as powerful, but the means of which you get it determines how really you might be using it and the consequences of using it. For sure. I think just the ending right here, like, because I like what this was doing right here. So crazy. Okay, I think that works. I wonder what happens if I assign it to this. Oh. That's crazy. That's crazy. That sounds so crazy. Oh man. Oh man. I like where this is going. All right, I'm gonna freeze that. That sounds crazy. I like that. It almost sounds like a lead guitar. And I think that might actually be kind of a vibe. Like do a ripping guitar solo with the similar melody. Down, 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 ba-da-doo-doo, down, 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 ba-da-doo-doo, down, down, ba-da-doo. All right, freeze, freeze. Come on. I think if my computer wasn't 15 years old, it would. It would do it. It's crazy that I upgraded this thing for like maybe $200, like putting a new hard drive and 2 new sticks of RAM in, and it like revamped this thing up quite a bit. It has such an old graphics processor, you can't really play video games on it. But this, oh, it's A1, dude. It's amazing. Come on, come on, come on. Would you do your job? Ableton, thank you. Finally. I feel like ooh. I see why it's called that. Alphabetical pop kit. Is it A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Why does it only play it once? Dang. Some of these kits are crazy. Batteries actually are really good. Ooh, best of FM7. Bottle popping kit. Let's see. Ooh. Oh. Huh, it won't let me like. Interesting. Some of these kits are crazy. Kind of like that. like that, and then on the second half, like add that hi-hat. Where was it? It was like oh wait. Oh, my bad. I forgot to download those free plugins. Just looking for a way to do it right. Was native access. Yeah. So feel like what was it? There we go. Yay! Woo. I'm telling you, man, if you got the hard drive space, get yourself some free plugins. Whoa. Yes. I like that. Okay, so I definitely know this part, these ideas together for sure happening. So I think the intro should be longer because I kind of want to build up to this. And I feel like there's a way to do it. And maybe just start it out like boom, 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 boom. I might toast my internet trying to get all these updates, all these plugins on here. Let me see what I can find for that. Hmm. Dang, dude, there's a ton of bug fixes. Oh, dude, there's tons of stuff I gotta update. I definitely need to do it off stream. I didn't realize I haven't updated this in like since this year. All right, so. I wonder if I have to close labs. If it won't let me do it. You know what? Hold on a sec. Let me try it again. Let me see if it'll do the update while Ableton is actually live. No way. This will be a first, like actually getting the. Oh, dude. Hold on. Let me update Ableton. Let me just update. I'm gonna save this real quick, and I'm gonna try it again. Let's try it again. Come on now. Should have just updated this before stream, but I guess nothing wanted to do it that way today, so we're not gonna do that. Okay. Now we're going to reboot said awesome thing. Oh my goodness. Bro, it's gonna take way longer than a half an hour to download that collection, isn't it? Plus all those updates that I have. Oh crap, dude. But yeah, I think this new wave of Myron the Disciple is gonna be like tapes. It feels like, taking the stuff that I already have that's really awesome and like making beat tapes, making stuff like that. Let me see. We're gonna load it up. What we got? All right, cool. So now I gotta relaunch Labs and make those chords again, but that won't be too bad. Let's see if there's some new libraries, some new sounds I can download. Maybe my internet will lag out and the stream will stop. Because I'm trying to do too much. Would I be surprised? No. Not at all. Moment of truth. Come on, Jesus. We know you're coming back. I know you got me. Come on. Come on, Jesus. First try. That's what I do every time my car starts. I say, thank you, Jesus. And I'm not going to lie. It's because I have issues with it starting sometimes. It's stupid. It's something really stupid. And I don't know what it is. And my car won't code it. So it just, I don't know. I think because it's a Toyota, I had heard this thing about gas caps. So I wonder if it's that. Oh, dude, don't crash my Ableton session. No. Oh. Did it do it? There's labs. Oh. Denying that. All right, hold on. Let me do that off screen. Oh, wait, was it this one? Ooh. Yeah, all these free sounds are actually really good. Okay. And then I'll be like. So I think what's gonna be making this song a little bit better is just gonna be like pads, like filling the space, making sounds that fit better here. And I feel like making beats that are right around like 3 minutes or so. Just different vibes. Stuff where it uses a lot of the same chord progression and maybe like morphs it in different ways. Okay, hold on. No way. No way. That's the... Kind of like that. Yeah. Okay, cool. So it's just like moving things around and getting the right. I think here, maybe that's just not the right sound, but it's close to it. Maybe like the music box. All right, let me see. Where was it? Maybe this one. Man, when you realize how much low end takes up your mix, like not only your volume, but like because on headphones you want to turn it up because you're like, oh, I really can't hear it. Nah, once you go to master it, you start to realize like the low end is probably one of the biggest issues. Because I've been actually going back to all my mixes, and ever since I recently started doing that, the masters that I've been doing, I've been able to get them so much louder and cleaner and just not as many issues. And the real problem's like the low end. Like it's like the like 20 hertz and below. It's starting to sound a lot cleaner just because I'm like dialing it in. Then we're going to randomize it a little bit so it sounds a little bit more real. Actually, let me do a little bit more. Yeah. Now let me, you know what? I've got way better sounding ones. Yeah, it just got really loud for y'all. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to see if I can get it like decently loud where it is. You know, the other thing I'm wondering too is if I switch the bass to like so I mean, I need to get an electric bass. I genuinely do. But going for the Rickenbacker bass that I have on here and like getting a real sounding bass. Do 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 do. Rickenbacker. That one sounds good. This one sounds really good. I like that. I like that a lot. Ooh. like how it's like higher up in the range here. And then put like an LA2A on it. I like that. It like brings back melodies and stuff. Ooh. Let me change the octave on that too. Nah. Too farty. Something about it. Maybe. Mm. Yeah, that's pretty significant. It's like really making it way more loud. But overall, it's a lot more tonally balanced. Bass is still a little hot. So I think what I need to do here, same thing here, shaper box. Ugh. Yeah, normally it's fine, but for some reason it's just not triggering the way. Oh, you know what? I have an idea. So just to get it right, like boom, 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 boom. Let me just do like a ghost note trigger. Drum, MIDI. So that's where it'll come from. So I'll get the sidechain input from, where is it? But I bet you what I do is I go in a shaper box. You go to MIDI. So we're going to go, that's all in, output. We're going to output that to subs. Yep. Okay, there we go. So oh my goodness. You know what? I'm going to loop this right now. BRB. Sorry about that, y'all. Oh my goodness, man. So there's a couple things I'm thinking about when it comes to this one. I'm wondering if I should let's see. Wonder if I should do like a solo that matches the All right, yeah, I think we're gonna do that. We're gonna do guitar rig. Goodness, man. Like a really crazy solo type of lead. Um Yeah, something like that. Maybe not, maybe not. Maybe something like that. Let me see. So it's ooh. I like that. I definitely want to put that. Yeah, that'll help with the noise. maybe make it a little quieter, but still, maybe just for the performance up a little bit, but. We're going to see if those clicks and pops were in the recording. I feel like this one's real close. Might need to add like a layer or two, but I don't know. I feel like this might be the end of the stream for today. Um, I just know I was running behind today, and there's some things that I've been thinking about getting done and trying, and just I don't know. I feel like this is the new way that I want to start doing the streams is like focus on instrumental, focus on making stuff that leans more towards the instrumental side of making music, because I really feel like what I understand as a songwriter, I can effectively make a beat and write a song in a day. I think this stuff is actually more challenging to me because I'm trying new things and sound designing more and trying to get like the right loudness, trying to figure out, okay, how do I get something to sit where I would really want it to in a mix, like where I want it to go. So I appreciate everybody who's been checking out the streams, checking out my content. Y'all are appreciated. And if you haven't already, drop a subscribe, drop a like. That helps a lot. I think I'm going to play this beat one more time from the top just so I can listen to it later as is. And then, who knows? Might just start kind of putting these up. But I really want to see how this will translate when it comes to like putting it out musically, like putting the tapes out under Myron the Disciple, because I feel like, yes, I want to do the hip-hop stuff, but really I think that this right here, this is something I really enjoy. Thank you all for everybody who's tuned in. I appreciate it. A lot more coming on the way. I really want to be a positive influence on the music community and help them understand, like, you can believe in God and do music too. There's a lot of people that think that just because they see what happens in the industry, like, that you have to be famous to do music. And I disagree. I think there's a lot of people that aren't famous that do this because they enjoy it and they're able to make a living doing it. And I believe it's possible because I believe anything is possible through Jesus Christ. So on that note, I pray whoever sees this video, it blesses them. And if they check out my channel and learn something and support, just by watching, liking, subscribing, whatever that is, that they learn something and that they can apply that and use the gift that God gave them, even without repentance. But on that note, if you haven't repented already and accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, I highly suggest that. It's been one of the greatest things I could have ever done in my life. And it continues to show me exactly that right there, that moment, continues to show me that I couldn't do it alone. And that nobody can. But through him, anything is possible. God bless y'all. Have a wonderful day.